Please turn on captions for the best experience. Typical Colors 2 is an amazing game with 9 unique classes. It is a literal dopamine factory. That's how addicting it is. While I was playing this amazing game, a thought emerged into my head. How many war crimes have the mercenaries committed? I will be turning this into a series breaking down each class's war crimes, each episode. Please note I am not an expert at this topic, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt. I will link my sources in the description. I am going to be doing this by giving each class a sin point. 1 sin point equals 1 law of war broken or 1 war crime committed. So first off, we need to address the fact that mercenaries are kind of illegal. However, I need to clarify what a mercenary is. According to the International Committee of the Red Cross, a mercenary is a fighter recruited locally or abroad to fight in a conflict. Someone who is a direct combatant in the conflict. Is motivated to take part in hostilities for private gain, like money. A person who is not a citizen of any country involved in the conflict and doesn't live in an area controlled by any of the countries in the conflict. Is not a member of the armed forces of a party to the conflict. Someone who is not a member of the armed forces sent by a country that is not part of the conflict on official duty. Mercenaries are not allowed to be combatants of any war. I'm pretty sure the conflict between red and green counts as a war. Another thing to be made aware of is that the training, recruitment, use, and financing of mercenaries breaks international laws. Just because Fit and Company, red, and green corporations aren't nations doesn't mean it is legal. However, red and green are still subjected to national and international laws. None of the classes will receive sin points due to the fact it's the corporation's fault for hiring mercenaries. For this series we are focusing on the mercenaries themselves. The agent is a class that can go invisible, disguise as the enemy, and instantly kill with a knife to the back. Almost immediately we can see that this Italian assassin has committed a war crime, her disguise. She has committed perfidy. In war, perfidy is when one side pretends to be friendly, like raising a white flag, but plans to betray the trust once the enemy is vulnerable, like capturing those who thought they were surrendering. It is against the Geneva Convention to resort to perfidy. Article 37 states, it is prohibited to kill, injure or capture an adversary by resort to perfidy. Acts inviting the confidence of an adversary to lead him to believe that he is entitled to, or is obliged to accord, protection under the rules of international law applicable in armed conflict, with intent to betray that confidence, shall constitute perfidy. The following acts are examples of perfidy. A. The feigning of an intent to negotiate under a flag of truce or of a surrender. B. The feigning of an incapacitation by wounds or sickness. C. The feigning of civilian, non-combatant status, and D. The feigning of protected status by the use of signs, emblems or uniforms of the United Nations or of neutral or other states not parties to the conflict. So she will gain 1 sin point. Since she can disguise as a doctor and use that to lure enemies in, that is also illegal. According to Article 38. 1. It is prohibited to make improper use of the distinctive emblem of the Red Cross, Red Crescent or Red Lion and Sun or of other emblems, signs or signals provided for by the conventions or by this protocol. It is also prohibited to misuse deliberately in an armed conflict other internationally recognized protective emblems, signs or signals, including the flag of truce, and the protective emblem of cultural property. She earns another sin point. So currently she has got 2 sin points. She can also sap sentries, dispensers, and teleporters. Unfortunately, the only thing I found bad about this was the sapping of dispensers, which give medical supplies and ammunition. However, I do not find it being a breach in the laws of war, but only being problematic under the principles of international humanitarian law, IHL. So all I can give her for this one is 0.5 sin points. Finally, we approach the knives, a key tool for any agent. The only 2 I found remotely bad were your eternal reward and the icicle. Since we cannot confirm if the icicle causes any sort of unnecessary pain, we cannot charge the agent with anything bad relating to it. This is due to the fact there is no real-world counterpart of this. For your eternal reward, we can see the blade is crooked, therefore causing unnecessary pain not only when someone is backstabbed, but also when the blade is removed. It is against the rules of war to modify weapons to cause extra pain. So, she gets an extra sin point. Other than that, we have nothing left to discuss about the agent. She currently has 3.5 sin points.